good morning. And thank you for this high honor set in the valley of the mighty Speed and in the traditional crossover territories of the neutral Confederacy. I have to say, downstairs, watching you, you look fabulous. I was thinking, though, that if on any other Friday night over the last 4 years you were caught at this time of day in a gown, it more likely signaled a late-night colloquium at the Woolly, or maybe that you'd just given up for the day. But here you are. Convocation has come. Congratulations. This place, Memorial Hall, brings back memories for me. As a boy, I'd be hauled off the river on the north end of town and dumped into the bath, which in itself was cruel and unusual punishment. But the prize would be to come here to Mem Hall to savor tales of bees and bears and animal behavior told by khaki-clad itinerant raconteurs who came here with the Audubon Society. And coming to this place was like getting a ticket to a magical place. And it was hugely influential in my growing up. And the truth be told, although I live away from Guelph, my hometown, I can't be in this place without fondly thinking and remembering a big male polar bear called Huxley and a series of formative experiences here at the College of Biological Sciences. In spite of doing my undergrad at an unnamed university with red gowns down 401, I began here as a SEAL handler in training, which I gather was an apt acronym for a man such as myself. By degrees, though, I graduated from feeding and bleeding seals to a vision research project involving Huxley that happened in the lab animal building just across the street. And there were two significant outcomes of that study. One was a paper in the Journal of Biochemistry and Physiology called The Spectral Sensitivity of a Polar Bear. And the second, possibly equally seismic consequence of that study for science was my exit from the discipline. Huxley helped me see that my gifts, such as they were far less suited to lab-based investigations of the North than they were to more field-based research, writing, and teaching in the North that curved away from the bedrock of science to the landscape of cultural anthropology and geography. And with that preface, I'd like to say just a few words this morning in 3 acts. Act 1, ships. My dad was a surgeon lieutenant in the Navy, and I'm so glad my sister is here, my family. No Google Maps. Astonishing. A guy in Siberia, literally on the other side of the world, had just drawn a detailed map of the village of Sealy's Bay in eastern Ontario with my house on it. 803 Alina Lane, there's Russell Thompson's house. What's up with that? I've always valued my foundational training in science, but in this instance, science didn't have very much to say at all about the spectacle I had just witnessed. To learn, we must take risks, even with the very foundations of our truths. Think of the generative risks you've taken. Think of the skills you have developed to move forward. Think of the beleaguered natural world and all that needs to be done to bring the planet and its inhabitants back into balance. Think of the teachings you have internalized throughout your time here at Guelph, but I'd like you to think of those as the building blocks of that Tennysonian arch through which you view the world. And then for a moment, if you will, I'd like you to think of what you've built here during your time over these probably 4 years as a wonderful, beautiful, durable ship. Shaping, hammering, riveting, smoothing, hauling, studying, collaborating, drinking, stretching, stuffing. All that has produced a finished vessel that this morning is in the slipway. Today's the day we're all going to knock out the blocks and down you're going to go with a splash into the sea of life. You know what it's made of. You know how it works. You and your colleagues and your professors and your family and your 7 million Facebook friends, you all built it collaboratively over this time with hard labor. And now the choice is yours. You can tie up at a slip at the bottom of Gordon Street and sip gin on the quarterdeck and watch the sun rise over Rockwood and set over the Church of Our Lady. But what good would that do for the world that your children are going to inherit? As some famous person said, and I really did try to track it back, it's attributed to about 25 people. Some famous person said, a ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are for. The other option is to hoist the mainsail, to salute those whose teaching and mentorship have trued your compass. Set your course and head out into the open sea, that proverbial trackless open ocean whose margin fades forever and forever when we move. And as such, it would be appropriate for me to conclude this morning not by saying well done, although you surely have, but by saying bon voyage, Godspeed, my fellow sailors of science. I hope you will treasure your achievement and will think of and never squander the degree you've received today, that you've received in Memorial Hall as a ticket, like I got in 1960, to a magical place. Thank you.